Welcome to Top 5 Most Expensive Wines in the World. 2017 wine has been a staple drink for mankind since 4100 BC. Almost everyone can enjoy a good red or white, and even the least refined palates will notice the differences from different vineyards. This list won't have any of those wines you'd find at your average liquor store though. 4 of the 5 wines on this list were made prior to 1950, one as old as the 1870s. Without further ado, here's the top 5 most expensive wines in the world. Number 5. Chateau Margaux, $225,000. Chateau Margaux is still producing wines to this day. They're known for good, expensive wines, and their reputation in the wine industry is one of the best. With the average bottle costing at least $1,500, they're definitely not something you'd pick up on a whim. Despite the high evaluation, the insurance company only paid out $225,000 for the ultra-rare bottle of wine. This was still more than it sold for, as at auction it only sold for a measly $155,453. Number 4. Chateau Lafite, $232,692 in 2010. A rare wine from Chateau Lafite was put up by Sotheby's in China. Part of a 2,000-bottle group from Lafite's cellars, they were among the oldest bottles of wine in the auction. A vintage from 1869, the bottles had only been valued at $8,000 per bottle. Due to a bidding war that astounded even the auctioneers, the bottles were eventually sold for $232,692 each. The kicker is that they were all sold to the same person. The anonymous Asian bidder paid just under $1 million for the 3 bottles. Talk about not learning to share. Number 3. 1907 Heidsieck, $275,000. While not technically a wine, I think this 1907 Heidsieck sits comfortably among them for the most expensive bottles sold. During World War I, a German U-boat fired upon a Swedish freighter stocked with spirits headed for the court of Tsar Nicholas II. The freighter, named Jönköping, try saying that 8 times fast, went down with 0 casualties as the Germans, in a stunning show of compassion, evacuated the crew before sinking it with a single torpedo. It lay in the Gulf of Finland for 80 years before being raised in 1997. Less than 2,000 bottles were recovered, and of those, less than 1,000 were still drinkable. Available at auction and at some of the fanciest hotels, it regularly sells still for $275,000. If you're interested in trying a similar wine for a much better price, they sell the 1996 version for $120. Number 2. 1947 Cheval Blanc, $304,000. This wine is unique because it shouldn't have been as good as it was, but somehow managed to become the wine other spirits wish they could be. Facing weather that was ruining their crops and damaging the winemaking process deep in their cellars, it was almost the ruin of Cheval Blanc. Because no one had mastered refrigerated winemaking, quite a few vats ended up with yeast going bad and the fermentation process just stopping, resulting in a gross, sugary mess. The vats that survived made one of the best Bordeaux in the world according to wine tasters. For that reason, an unknown buyer purchased a bottle in Geneva for a whopping $304,000 at a Christie's auction. Bottles had previously sold for around $12,000 a bottle, but with an ever-diminishing supply, the price started to rise sharply. In 2008, a lucky buyer purchased a case for $146,000. At current prices, that would be a whopping $3.6 million at current market value. Number 1. Screaming Eagle Cabernet, 1992, $500,000. The newest wine on this list, the Screaming Eagle is actually one of the highest reviewed. Sold at auction or by an exclusive mailing list, it was one of the rarer wines for such a new vintage. Only 175 cases were produced, even less were produced of the following years. The bottles were sold in up to 6 liters, though, so if you bought one, you were set for a good amount of time if you didn't rush yourself. Last sold at a charity auction in 2000 for $500,000, the high demand quickly ran through the supply of this new wine. Not bad for a wine that had only gone to market 5 years earlier.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.